Yeah, that's shocking to me. It's almost twice the salary, but it's good insight. Hey friends, today we're going to talk about the average salary you can make as a digital marketing manager if you're based in the UK, or more specifically where I'm based at is London. So keep that in mind. Your salary is going to depend upon the location you live in and obviously the level of seniority you have within your field. So yeah, let's get some average numbers for you guys. I'm going to do a bit of a screen share session so you can see what I'm seeing. We're going to start with the website Morgan McKinley, who, as far as I'm aware, is a consulting company. It's saying here that the average salary range is between 45,000 and 90,000. I would say 4 to 5,000 pounds is definitely more on the optimistic side. If you're just starting out, I highly doubt you're gonna get paid that. So if we look at the right-hand section here, if you're a digital marketing manager between 0 to 3 years, 40,000 pounds. Yeah, I think after 2 years you can start to see you getting that salary. That's definitely realistic. For context, my full-time digital marketing manager role was at 28,000 pounds a year. So obviously there's a lot of economic influences that can change this number, like inflation, for example. Especially if your job has benefits, they might even reduce your salary. So keep that in mind. But yeah, looking at the numbers, 40,000 as a junior, that's definitely optimistic. I would say a more realistic range is between 0 to 2 years is 25,000 to 30K, maybe even 35. If you've been doing digital marketing for about 3 years, I would definitely say, yeah, 40,000 is just about optimistic. I would say more 38-ish K. And the next section here, between 3 to 5 years, 45,000 to 90,000. Yes, I think that's a realistic range. I'm not too confident on the higher end number of 90,000 pounds unless you're very lucky and you find a position that does give you that salary. That only tends to happen if it's a digital marketing manager role with very specialized. So you might be specialized in SEO, or maybe you're specialized in paid advertising. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And yeah, you'd probably see a 90,000 pounds a year digital marketing manager role if it's a startup who's just received funding and they're looking to potentially get the best hire. Yeah, but most jobs or most job specs that I've seen or companies that I interviewed for, 90,000 is definitely way too optimistic. Finally here, 5+ years, 50,000 to 100K. I agree with that. I know that's a pretty wide range, but that's I would say that's realistic. So if we now move on to the next website, prospects.ac.uk, which I believe is a website for graduates. As mentioned earlier, your digital marketing salary will really depend on your responsibilities and your location, where you specialize in. You might have a digital marketing manager role where you have more of a generalist responsibility and you tend to get lower salaries, I find. But if you're a digital marketing manager who specializes or has a job spec that focuses on maybe 1 or 3 channels, you tend to get a higher salary. Within the paid search side, for sure, you'll get a higher salary. Or if it's a head of growth role or a digital director or director of digital marketing, or those type of roles, you'll tend to get a higher salary. Scroll down a bit here. Entry-level salaries, digital marketing assistant role, for example, 22 to 25K. I agree with that for sure. If you're between 0 to 2 years, that's a good number. But for me, I mean, that's quite low. If you're living in London earning that salary, if you are just starting out, stay in that role for a couple of months and then move on to the next. I think digital marketing is such an in-demand role right now. And 25K salary in London you're gonna struggle. So yeah, try to upskill as quickly as possible. Next one here, digital marketing officer, 22 to 28K. That's on the realistic side, I would say. And then finally, more senior management roles at 48,000 pounds. I would disagree with that. It's saying here that you could earn up to 48,000 pounds. I think 48,000 pounds is probably just above the base salary, but as a senior digital marketing manager, you can definitely earn up to 100K, 100,000 pounds a year. That could potentially include bonuses, equity shares as well, something to keep in mind. But yeah, up to 48,000 pounds for a senior. I don't believe that's the limit. Next website, Indeed. Everyone knows this website, and it's hopefully the more accurate website just because employers post their jobs and they tend to add their salaries on the job spec. So digital marketer salary in the UK, average base salary £28,000. Yes, I agree with that. And the next section here, top companies for digital marketing in the UK. Yeah, these are recruitment agencies just for context, and these are average salaries I can see in the right-hand area. It's probably more interesting to look at the highest paying cities. I'm already surprised by the fact that Staines upon Thames has the higher salary at £62,000 compared to London at £33,000 a year. Yeah, that's shocking to me. It's almost twice the salary, but it's good insight. Most people think that just because you're in the main capital of the country, that the main city, London, would pay the highest, but looking at the data, at least from Indeed, it looks like that isn't the case. So if you live in the UK, try to look for roles in Staines, I guess, if you want to get twice the salary compared to London. And then all the other cities, you can see it's between 24,000 to about 29,000 pounds a year. Cool. Next website, total jobs, average is 37,000 pounds. There's a pretty wide range basing it off from, so 27,000 to 52,000 pounds. Yeah, I would say if we're talking about average specifically, irrelevant of how many years you've been doing it, 37 is pretty much on par. Penultimately, Glassdoor, a good website. For the most part, it's actually people who have worked those jobs post these salaries. So yeah, very high confidence that the average base salary is £41,000 in London specifically. And then you can see in the lower end, £25,000. That's definitely accurate. And then 67k is on the higher end. I agree with that. Final website is Reed. Average is £52,000. Again, I would disagree with, unless we're looking at the numbers that it's taking the average from, which is £22,000 on the lower end, all the way to £140,000, which is a wide range. So this number, doesn't really help us too much. But for context, I would say if you're starting out, I know the main thing to focus on is your salary, but if I were to give advice, if you're starting out, focus on the opportunity, focus on the skills that you can actually learn from the job, because this field, there's a very low barrier to entry. So I think working for the right company with the right opportunities or the right team is going to help you a lot more than just focusing on the salary itself. Learn to upskill, that's a phrase, as soon as possible. Within a year, you might be even seen as senior, depending on the stuff that you've actually achieved within the company you work for. And then advice for people more on the senior level, I think you need to start looking at deciding whether you want to be more of a generalist digital marketer, chance to have a lower salary. You might enjoy that more compared to if you're a digital marketing manager wanting to specialize in a specific channel, whether that's SEO, conversion rate optimization, paid advertising, and so on. You tend to get a higher salary, so start to make a decision which path you're going to take, whether you're going to be a generalist or a specialist. And you can be both, right? You can be a specialist that has the ability to understand all channels, which is the ideal path you want to take. Yeah, we didn't really touch on the average salary you can get as a digital marketing manager on the freelance side. As a freelancer, as a consultant, as an agency owner, I don't really base my invoice with what the going rate of a salary is, because we don't really get paid a salary, right? We invoice them, whether that's a day rate, whether that's a monthly retainer or subscription, whether that's a profit margin on top of the advertising spend that they're actually spending within the platforms. So it starts to get a bit confusing what the average rate is if you're freelancing. But potentially I can do a video on that. If you are interested, let me know. Leave your request in the comments below and I'll make a separate video for that. But hopefully this video is giving you some insight into the average idea of what the salary you can get as from junior to senior all the way to a director or kind of expert level. If you are a digital marketing manager or you work with a digital marketing manager, if you are open, I'd love to hear your thoughts, what the actual salary that you get, or maybe the salary range if you're more comfortable. Leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video. Till next time, peace and love.